recorded already. Yeah. All right, hello everyone. This is a little session on my first saltwater rod and reel, and we have several questions that come in about rods, reels. What should I use, or should I get this kind of rod or reel? Should I get this kind of setup? And number one, it all depends on what you are doing, what your situation is. What are you fishing for? Are you fishing for bass in freshwater? Are you fishing for speckled sea trout in saltwater? Are you going shark fishing? There's a lot of different things that go into buying a rod and reel and what you buy them for. I'm going to show you what I've gone through over the years and give you a few pointers on what I do and what I'm doing. My number one overall where I'm at now with the ultimate inshore but can handle some heavy fish setup, and that is what I could get away with. I got a really good deal on this. This is a Stratic 4000. This is the new version, 2021. It is all sealed. Everything is completely sealed in this rod and in this reel. Now, this is a $240 reel in most places, maybe even more. I have it paired with a 7-foot All-Star medium heavy, and it's a fast action, but it's a light setup. I can throw lures with it all day long, this size, or I can drop bait down and I can still bait fish with it. It is a great all-around fish catching machine. Now, depending on what you're going, if you're going after 20-pound snook, you might want a 6500 setup with a shorter rod that's much heavier. This is a setup that'll handle 40 to 80-pound line. Next, this is a 6000. Again, now it's a little bit lighter rod, but again, short and stiff. This is one of the ones I started with, an old trophy catfish rod. It's probably from the 80s, but guess what? It still catches fish because I take care of it. This is probably the second saltwater rod. It's an old offshore from Bass Pro Shops with an ugly stick on it. 7-foot ugly stick. It's a little whippy, but this rod and reel has handled 6-foot sharks. Got a Penn Battle 2 with a 7-foot ugly stick. This is my son-in-law's setup. Now this is a great setup, just like what I have. This is an affordable model of what I have. $59 reel, a $70 rod. So, you know, 130 is a nice little setup. It's a Lew's BW series 3000 and a laser speed stick, 7-foot, medium heavy action, but it's a very good setup. Getting into lighter stuff, this is my heavy inshore, so snook, reds, stuff like that. Again, my baby. This is a freshwater setup we have that I gave to my daughter. Now, look at the difference in these handles and how it's fading away. That's not happening with my saltwater ones. That's a freshwater setup, but it's a very good, because it's a President, very good. I have a Florida 3000 on a Abu Garcia Veritas. This is my favorite setup. My wife bought me this for an anniversary, and it's amazing. And this is my ultralight. This is a BGW Daiwa BG 2000 little wee setup, and this is an old Bill Dance special. Who made this? I think it's a Quantum. This is a little Quantum, like 4.5-foot rod and reel, but it's great on the kayak. Now, all of them have a different blend in what they can do. Even bait casters. I don't use them a lot, but this is a Lew's bait caster I had from bass fishing and a Mojo bass setup, 6.5 foot. But inshore, throwing lures, it is great. This is my newest heavy duty saltwater setup. Now, I only got this because I got a super good deal. This is an Akuma setup and a Akuma rod and reel. This is an 8-foot heavy duty, fast action, and this will handle, it has 65-pound braid on it. It'll handle 50 to 100 pounds. Another heavy setup. So I have all these so that I can handle all the situations that I fish. Do I fish all them all the time? No. But I've collected these over years and over different fishing trips that I've got to go on. So it depends on what you're doing. My favorite, that has probably caught more fish than any of the other ones, is this because it is super light. I carry this around all the time. I can throw lures, I can throw live bait, and it's just a great little setup. A 2500 reel, a 7-foot rod. It's a medium, but it's a fast action and it's super light. So I can play with this thing all day. I never have a problem holding this. I can fish for 8 hours with this rod and reel. And the other great thing is, we can use any of the saltwater setups for freshwater, but not necessarily freshwater for saltwater. This I use in freshwater and saltwater, and it's great. It is smooth. It's got enough power to handle most fish, and it's awesome. So the whole reason we wanted to show you this today, again, followers that are giving us comments, kind of the who, what, when, why, where, what are you doing, or what should I do? What we're doing is easy. I can show you everything that we do, but what you're doing may be different from what we're doing. We may be trout fishing tomorrow and we might be using even the ultralight, or we may be shark fishing at the beach the next day and be using the biggest stuff that we have. So those questions actually bring more questions. When you say, hey, what rod and reel, what type of fishing are you doing? What type of water? What kind of fish? And when I say what type of water, there's standing water, there's moving water, ponds, lakes, rivers, streams, and then there's everything in the saltwater. Even in saltwater, sometimes we're at the beach, so we need a different type of setup. We need tall, long rods that can get out over the breaks. When we're fishing a pass or an inlet, that water gets moving really fast in the current sometimes. You need stiffer rods. Sometimes we're on the kayaks and we're in backwater in 3 foot of water, and we're in mangrove. So I want the smallest, shortest rods that I can get, but that'll still handle some fish. So ask yourself the questions and do a little bit of homework. I learned about each of these by one of two ways, if not both ways. I researched and I did it from real people. I didn't go to any sponsors. I went to, hey, Real Meditation is fishing today and they're fishing for trout and this is their setup. And I went, oh, okay, cool. Let me check those out. Then I went and checked those out. Then I maybe found somebody or talked to other people that were doing it, and it was great. That's how you learn how and why to use what you're using.